welcome to Story Time in my living room. I love to read stories and I love to think about what good readers do when they're reading. And what I want you to think about today is that when you're reading, we always look at words and letters and sounds and picture clues. It's one of the things that authors give us is this gift of picture clues. And it's always an exciting day in my kindergarten classroom when we notice where the cover continues on from the front cover to the back cover to tell the story. And in this book, there's also a little snapshot telling what the story is going to be about. That helps you decide if it's something you might be interested in. So when I go to a bookstore, I always look at that and pay attention to the details. But this says, one snowy Christmas, a little hedgehog wakes up from his deep winter sleep. He is cold, much too cold to go back to sleep. So he's excited when the Christmas present outside his door was a red woolly hat. Little hedgehog stretches the hat to fit his head, but his prickles get in the way every time. But then little hedgehog has an idea, and the hat turns out to be the best Christmas present ever. So today I will be reading One Snowy Night. The author is Christina Butler, and the illustrator is Tina McNaughton. Another thing that good readers do when they're reading a story, they predict what might happen next. So I want you to be thinking about that as I read this story today. Before I turn the next page, you think about what's going to happen next. That's called prediction. The cold wind woke little hedgehog from his deep winter sleep. It blew his blanket of leaves high into the air, and he shivered in the snow. He tried to sleep again, but he was much too cold. Suddenly, something fell from the sky. Thud! It landed right in front of his nose. It was a present, and it had his name on it. To Little Hedgehog. Little Hedgehog opened the present as fast as he could, and inside was a red woolly hat, hedgehog size. He put it on at once, and he pulled it to the back, and he pulled it to the front. He pulled it to one side and then the other. But it didn't matter how he stretched it to fit. His prickles got in the way every time. By now the hat was much too big for Little Hedgehog. He took it off and stared at it until at last he had an idea. He gave the hat a shake and wrapped it up again. He ripped a piece off the label and wrote on the rest. Then he ran to Rabbit's house. Rabbit was out, so he left the present on his doorstep. It was snowing hard as Little Hedgehog tried to find his way back home. The snowflakes flew all around, and he wasn't sure which way to go. Oh dear, he said. I shouldn't have come out in this weather, but I know Rabbit will be happy to have a nice woolly hat to wear. Too much snow, said Rabbit, rushing home. He saw the present lying on his doorstep. What's this? He squeaked with delight, ripping off the paper. A woolly hat, he cried. For me? He put it on at once. He tried it with his ears inside, then outside. He pulled it this way and he pulled it that way, but it didn't matter how he stretched it to fit. His ears got in the way every time. By now the hat was much bigger, and it was much too big for a rabbit. So Rabbit wrapped up the hat and wrote on the corner of the label. Then he went to visit Badger. The cold weather made Badger very grumpy. Merry Christmas, Badger, shouted Rabbit. Who's there? Growled Badger. Merry Christmas, repeated Rabbit, giving him the present. A Christmas present? Asked Badger. For me? Badger put the hat on. He pulled it down over his ears. How about that? He said, looking in the mirror. Very nice, said Rabbit. What did you say? Said Badger. Very nice, yelled Rabbit, hopping off. Don't you like it? Asked Badger, turning around. But Rabbit had already gone. Badger took the hat off. I can't use this, he said. I can't hear a thing. Too bad, it's such a nice color. So Badger wrapped up the present and marched off to Fox's house. He didn't use a label. Fox was going out exploring. Here you are, friend, said Badger. Here's a present for you. It's time to be nice to each other. And he trudged home. A hat, sneered Fox, opening the present. Why would I want a hat? Then he looked at it again and he made 2 holes for his ears. He put it on. Satisfied, he went on his way. The white fields twinkled in the moonlight. Fox sniffed around and found a small trail. He followed it this way and that until suddenly it stopped. There was something under the snow. Fox dug and dug until he found Hedgehog. It was cold. Poor little guy, said Fox. He put the hedgehog inside the red woolly hat and carried it to Rabbit's house. Rabbit and Badger were having supper. Look what I found in the snow, cried Fox. They all looked at the hat. A hedgehog! What's a hedgehog doing out at Christmas? He should be fast asleep. It's my friend Little Hedgehog, cried Rabbit. He must have gotten lost going home in the snow. Little Hedgehog opened his eyes. Hello, he said sleepily. Oh, this is such a lovely warm blanket. The friends all looked at each other. Rabbit grinned and Fox scratched his head. Said Badger. I think this woolly hat is just right for Little Hedgehog. Merry Christmas, Little Hedgehog, they all cheered, but Little Hedgehog was fast asleep. On snowy days in my classroom, my kindergarten kids loved to make snow with paper snowflakes. And we snip snow and we let the clippings fall to the floor. And then when it's all said and done, we like to shovel or get our broom out or get on our hands and knees and clean it all up. And then we have these beautiful snowflakes to enjoy in our classroom. So you might want to make it snow inside your house today. You can show your family how that looks and enjoy the snowy day, and always remember that every day is a holiday.